What's happening, YouTube? It's your homie S. Dot coming back to you with another video. So today's video is going to be a quick deck profile on one of the decks that I'm considering for Nationals, and that is Jesmon. So I know I'm late on all my deck profiles and things in general. I've been going through a lot behind the scenes. Mental health is mental wealth, I'll just say that. And I know I've been kind of slacking on my videos. And on top of that, you know what? The reason why I'm doing a deck profile today and not another Digigauntlet is because somehow when I started when I connected my OBS to Twitch and I started messing with all these different settings and things like that, I messed up my settings to where I lag a lot on Discord, so I'm not able to record right now anyway. Now I had some other Digigauntlet matches I can get up, but I just gotta kind of gotta get some things figured out with that, and also get my mental health together in order to be able to want to do that for you guys. But and of course I gotta make that a priority. But I will be back to videos promptly sometime here. So guys, just pray for me, pray for all you guys. I hope all you guys are doing well. The holiday season just passed and all that, good stuff. But yeah, without further ado, it's going to talk about where my mind is at right now with the cards that I have, because I don't have the cards from EX01 yet to try a couple of things. But anyway, jump into the deck profile. We're going to start with the eggs. So the eggs right now, I'm playing 3 Babitomon and 2 Demi-Meramon. I don't know if it's right, if I should just be playing a 4th Babitomon. That 16k threshold that you get with Jesmon with his own 14k, and then because he has piercing, the Babitomon, Digimon that has piercing gains 2k, will make you at least 16k. There's a couple of reasons why that matters with the Babitomon is because of Wyvern's Breath. So against decks that are playing Wyvern's Breath, like Security Control, obviously, or even other yellow decks, when you're attacking into Security and they try to Wyvern's Breath you, you'll live, so obviously if you're even at, it depends on what point they hit it. Let's say if the first check is a Wyvern's Breath, and you're at only 16k, well, you won't die at least right there, but obviously you'll most likely die to the next check because you only have 1,000 left with your Jesmon. But overall, you just get to some pretty absurd numbers, and let's say you do get to that 20k or 22k, well, again, right there, Wyvern's Breath won't be as bad because you'll still be at 5 to 7, maybe sometimes 8k, depending on how high you get for the high score. And this also helps for Craniumon decks that play Gogmamon, etc., or just have a giant Craniumon after they play Zubagon Punch, and their Craniumon sitting at between 16 and 18k, and then your Babitomon can just help you get to some pretty high numbers for your Jesmon. And then the Demi-Meramon is also really good. The Demi-Mera, I think, really is essentially for your champions, even your rookies. Your rookies, champions, and your ultimates. So sometimes it's not all about Jesmon. Sometimes you're put in situations where you have to raise earlier and get in swings earlier on, and having that extra 1,000 helps. And of course, it is a win attacking effect, so and it's not once per turn, so if you do have it on Jesmon, just keep in mind the first time you attack, you'll gain 1,000, and then the next time you attack, you'll gain another 1,000, and then if you Digivolve into Omnimon or whatever the case is, you'll gain another 1,000 from there as well. So this is the split I'm doing right now. I don't think it actually matters too much. I don't think there's a definitive correct answer. I also like Yokomon as well. Yokomon, when attacking a player, or excuse me, attacking another Digimon, you gain 1,000, which can help with your your champions and your ultimates throughout the game. So right now I'm just doing a 3-2 split, which I think is fine. Next up, we are going to go through our rookies. So I'm only playing 11 rookies right now, and I'm playing 11 rookies because I'm playing 2 memory boosts. Spoiler alert. Memory boosts I look at as a 12th and 13th rookie, because if that's what you need at the time or whatever, that's what you'll probably go search for off of the red memory boost. Of course, you'll get whatever you need to assess the situation. But ultimately, we're going to play 4 Huckmon. Of course, not a lot to say about that. Definitely the best rookie in the game, best on play in the game right now, and being able to grab 2 sisters, or between a sister and a Digimon with Royal Knight in this type, or a Huckmon in this name. Very good. Next up, we're playing Guilmon. I will be testing Biomon. Biomon seems like a lot easier to proc because you can proc it prior to Digivolving into Jesmon, or having to bow Huckmon with that combo. It makes a lot more sense to just draw that free card automatically, so I definitely will be testing the EX01 Biomon when it comes out. But right now, we start playing Guilmon, which is really nice. And if you are playing Galamon, being able to work Digivolve into it for that kind of comeback factor if your opponent's playing a Mega is also pretty good. Next up, we have 3 Monodramon. The 2-play cost is just very nice to be able to, potentially choke your opponent. Or sometimes if you're at 3 with your tie, being able to play this and then Digivolve into one of your, your champions is also really good. Of course, it's 3k. He actually lives a lot in this format. If you have a Demi-Mera under, he becomes 4k, which is pretty respectable. And he also dodges things like Genkumon, which isn't as relevant, if you are playing against a black blocker deck, him being a 2-cost versus a 3-cost will protect all of your level 3s because, again, he's a 2-cost. He just has a lot of small applications that end up adding up over time, and I think the vanillas are very good at 3. Next up, we have 2 Agumon. This Agumon has an inheritable that when attacking, that's not once per turn. If you're attacking a player, you gain 2,000 attack. So this is another reason why I think I could also potentially cut down on the Babitomons. Yes, I'm only playing 2 of the Agumon. I could also see myself cutting a mono for Agu. When it comes to ratios, the ratios get so wacky. I'm always changing things, and I'm just telling you guys where my head is at right now. But you know, with the Babitomon and the Agumon, you're definitely getting some pretty high numbers against most decks. It's not going to matter. Against certain decks, you definitely would like to have it. But and again, it's a not once per turn effect, so when you attack again, you get another 2,000, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm only playing 11 rookies total, and again, I think because I'm making space for other things, I have to sacrifice here, and I think it's okay at the same time, because you know what? I know there's a percentage difference. Well, obviously 12 rookies is better than 11 in terms of percentage chance of opening, but you know what? A lot of times when I play 12, I still don't open a rookie, like I don't want to say a lot, but you know, a good bit of the time. So sacrificing that space for the red memory boost, which acts as you know, a searcher for a rookie if you need it, and also the extra 2 memory, you know, throughout the game is just really good. So I think 11 is fine, to be honest with you. I know it sounds crazy, but and next up, we're playing 4 Sistermon Blanc. So we're playing 4 right now, and as we get into the champions, we'll talk about why I'm playing 4 of these, and then I'll also just talk about the other sisters. Total, we are playing, I think you don't ever need more than 6 sisters, period. 1 for space issues, 2 because it's just unnecessary to have more than 6. But we're playing 4 of the blocker, Sistermon Blanc. Keep in mind, she makes all of your Sistermon's blocker. So, and then CL on play, she will gain you a memory, and then Blanc on play, you will draw a card. So I know I'm bouncing around a little bit again. I told you I'm not all the way here right now, but I wanted to get out some content for you guys because I know it's been a minute, and I want to again show you where I was at least in my deck builds for now. But so I'm playing 4 block because I'm not playing any champion blockers is what I want to say ultimately. And I think if you're not playing any like the Monochromon or the Cordiamon, that you need to have the 4 Sistermon blocker, and plus she helps you dig for what you're trying to do in terms of, you know, dig for your pieces anyway. But CL has been very good though. I love to play with Savior, where like if you only have 2 memory, you can Digivolve and pass to 1 and then play the CL, gain a memory, keep your turn, and potentially attack with the Savior or whatever the case is. But yeah, ultimately I think this ratio is fine. Otherwise, I think you probably play 3 and 3. You'll never do 4 CL 2 Blanc. Blanc is just obviously so important to be able to give blocker to all your Sistermons, and they're all just definitely very good. So again, I think it's going to be a ratio thing. I don't think it's going to be like, oh well, because you know, there's no correct way I think to really do this overall. Despite some of these little things I'm talking about, like not having the champion blockers. That's just my theory behind it of why I'm playing 4 Blanc right now versus you know, 3 and 3. Next up, we have 4 Greymon. This is the security attack +1 Greymon. Definitely very good. When you have this in your inheritables along with Savior Huckmon, obviously this could just be very backbreaking and game ending, especially if you get chip damage in earlier with your rookies. If you get that 1 chip damage in, and then you get 2 clean swings with Jesmon while he has a Greymon under it, that's 2 checks each time, which is all your opponent's security. If you have Omnimon, obviously you're going for game then at that point. It's very, very good. I can see myself cutting this card down to 3 though, because of another card that I'm playing, and we'll talk about it as we get through the deck profile. And next up, we are playing 4 Bao Huckmon. He is along the line of the you know, the Huckmon family, if you will. Of course, this is one card you can search off of your Huckmon, literally. And yeah, just ultimately this card is just very good. 6k attack, 5 drop on top of that, which is really good. So sometimes if you do break and you open this, you can just hard drop this. Depending on what deck you're playing against, a lot of times it's actually mages live, and then you Digivolve into your Savior next turn, and then, you know, hopefully dig into your deck for rookies. But as inheritable is really good. When attacking once per turn, delete one of your opponent's Digimon that have 5k or less DP if you control a Sistermon, which is really good. So it's really good. It's a really good application in the mirror match to get rid of a Sistermon Blanc, so it can block. And of course, all your 5k blockers, any rookies, lingering rookies, like against the bond decks, you know, this card is just very good. So I'm playing 4 right now ultimately because when I play my Huckmon, I'd like to hit as many targets as possible. So I'm going to play the maximum of every red, you know, Huckmon or, you know, Royal Knight that I'm able to play right now. So, and then next up we are playing 2 Dark Tyrannomon. Shout out to Mr. Infomon, Travis. Travis put me on to, he reminded me about this card. I remember I wanted to test this and I just forgot to add it. This is the card that was a flex spot between, this is the 2 cards where you have a flex spot between the Dark Tyrannos, you have Monochromon, and then you also have the Cordiamon, and then you have even Geo Greymons. And I tried Geo. My goal with this build, I guess it's probably something I should have said since the beginning, is I want to have as good of a, no, I won't say decent, a good of a matchup against Bond of Friendship as possible. And so playing this card, It's a 1-cost 6K attacker, and depending on the inheritables that you have, you can actually get some pretty respectable attacks in with this guy versus just kind of sitting there and blocking with Monochromon. Most of the time, most of your Digimon are just gateways in order for you to get to Jesmon, because obviously that's your main finisher. But sometimes throughout the game, you may want to get some chip damage in, and him being a 6K attacker, having a Demi-Mera under him being 7K, having an Agumon under him that'll be 8K total, like he actually gets to, or 9K, he'll actually get to some respectable numbers. And again, he's a 1-cost. Being a 1-cost Digivolution between him and Monochromon actually just comes up so often. The difference between 1 and 2 is actually very significant in a lot of situations. None I can really just tell you off the top of my head right now, but in terms of like maybe not passing turn, like versus like let's say you had 1 memory and you Digivolve into this and then like you top deck or you draw into your Savior, then you can play your Savior, then now you can play a Blanc. Otherwise, like if you'd had another 2-drop here, like all your champions were 2-drops, you would have to pass turn in that sense, and then you wouldn't be able to, you know, progress your turn that way. So, and sometimes you might get into plays where like you'll have a tie out, and then you let's say you are playing Monochromon, and like let's say you play a Huckmon, you search, and then you just Digivolve into a Monochromon and have that equalizer there as well. And sometimes honestly Monochromon is just really good to just have him alongside of your Blancs, especially against like Friendship. If you could have multiple different blockers out or whatever, you might be able to like stymie your opponent a little bit to not, you know, pressure you for game. So ultimately, I don't know exactly what's correct right now. Comment down below and let me know what you guys have liked and why in this spot. I get Cordramon's really good too because he's 6K, he's 2 to Digivolve and all that, you know, and he's a 5K or 5-drop blocker. I understand all that. I think it's just gonna, with a couple more weeks that we have to continuously test, I just have to see exactly what I, you know, am gonna end up liking. So right now I'm playing 5 Ultimates. I'm playing 4 Savior and then 1 Voltramon. If I try Gallantmon again, which I do want to sincerely try for a good couple of days and see how much I like or dislike Gallantmon, I will add a second Voltramon. There's also the possibility of Rise Greymon. I also want to just test 2 Rise Greymon over the 2 Voltramon and see how much I like those. But ultimately, obviously, Savior is the one you want to see most often. It's probably, I mean, every card in here is the most important card in the deck, but this obviously is the one that makes everything scary because it allows your Jesmon to do what he does twice over. If you have a Sistermon in play when attacking, if you have a control of Sistermon, you're able to unsuspend his Digimon. And keep in mind, it's any Digimon, so like if you have an Omnimon that lived on the turn prior, your Omnimon or your Gallantmon, whoever, all get to swing and restand as long as you control a Sistermon. So not too much more to say about that. I also do like the application of Bulkmon. Yes, it's not unsuspend madness like Savior, but a lot of times when you get that pressure in, depending on what point of the turn, the game you apply that pressure, even if you have Jesmon and Digivolve into an Omnimon, that's 4 checks right there as well. And then they got an Omni they have to deal with that could potentially be attacking for next game the following turn. So I still do like the applications of Voltramon, and I don't think it's just as simple as, oh, you got to play 4 Savior. I mean, it could be because, you know what, you are playing the draw power and the Huckmons and stuff to find them. But I do like the applications of 1 Volk. I'm not mad at it. Next up, we have, of course, the main starter deck. The reason why the deck usually is so scary, I don't know another Digimon that's as scary as Jesmon in Raising. This guy is insane. When attacking, he's just like the next level of Lord Nightmon, of course. No disrespect, the Lord Nightmon card is still great. But this guy, when attacking, you're able to play a Sistermon from your hand or trash. Just insane value for free. And then when you play a Digimon, keep in mind, when you play a Digimon, let's say if you have a Jesmon in Raising, if you raise the Jesmon and play one of your rookies, you will still gain the plus 3K in piercing. It's just when you play a Digimon, I know most people are just so used to Jesmon attacking and then playing the Sistermon off of the effect, but just keep that in mind. But yeah, so this gaining the piercing and just being able to be a powerhouse like he is with how the whole deck runs is obviously insane, and definitely a card that you have to play 4 of. So 100% for Jesmon. Shout out to the alternate art too. I didn't like this alternate art at first, but for whatever reason it grew on me, and now it's one of my favorite alternates. Really, really nice. Next up, we have 2 Omnimon. So I do also want to try another build that I was talking with Travis about, with just actually potentially testing 1 Omni, because you know what, if let's say I'm doing well at Nationals, most of the time I'm pretty much feel like I'm going to be running into Jesmon mirrors or Friendship and maybe like your occasional like Musketeers and stuff. And like speaking of Musketeers or your security control decks, I would like to have a second one against those decks because this guy's actually pretty hard to get rid of, especially if you have like, let's say you have a CL on the field. Keep in mind your Sistermon CL makes all of your Royal Knights give plus 2K on all turns. That's also something I forgot to mention earlier, my bad. But all your Royal Knights or Digimon with Huckmon in their name gain 2,000 on all turns. So your Omnimon is a Royal Knight, so he'll be at 16K, and it's not easily outed. They can't Wyvern's Breath and just kill it because you'll still have 1,000 left, so it's something to think about. And of course, Omni for game is always a plug. So And then next up for the options, the options are pretty simple, self-explanatory. 2 Delicate Plan, 2 Judgment and Blade. I could see myself going to 3 Judgment and Blade and 1 Delicate Plan. I should just try it just to see how much I really care about having 2 Delicate versus Security Control, because I get you can just have the one and just obviously when logically if you're only playing 1, you're literally going to hold this for dear life until you really have to use it. But my problem is if you don't see it, or you see it go to the bottom with a memory boost or a Huckmon, you're sad and you won't have one for the rest of the game. So I don't know if this is necessarily like if you don't play this card you're gonna lose, but I mean you'd rather just not deal with all this security. Like you'd rather not deal with friendship, bond of friendship, and all their ice walls and hammer sparks and everything that they potentially have in security, howling memory boosts, etc. So I'm still gonna test 2 and see how I feel about it in the end. But a lot of it's gonna come down to what matchups you end up playing, where it's gonna be good at or not as good at. Obviously against Security Control you have a field day, because even if hopefully you don't get unlucky and hit them both in flip them with memory boost or Huckmon. But ultimately I've been with 2 and 2 for the longest. The only other change I've ever potentially done was added a 3rd Judgment and kept still 2 Delicate. I just can't see myself getting away from this yet, but I need to stop being stubborn. Sometimes with some certain cards I get stuck in my ways and I'm like, I don't even want to bother testing something else. I need to get out of that. I do want to test 3 Judgment and 1 Delicate, because Judgment is just very insane. Depending on if they're at, especially if they're at 0, you can pretty much kind of choke them with your own kind of harem spark by bringing out a CL and then putting it at 1 on your side and then making them pass turn. So there's little things to think about with this card. Cards are very good. I'm still stuck in my ways with this for now, but I do need to try 1 and 3 in terms of Judgment. 2 Judgment minimum for sure. Like I'm never going more than or less than 2, unless this card of course gets hit on the ban list, which is a highly anticipated card to get hit on the list. Also comment down below what you guys think are going to be, what do you guys think is going to get hit in the upcoming ban list. I'm kind of worried about like Judgment, not worried, but like Judgment, maybe Delicate, but at the same time these kind of cards like help keep these decks that like to play on a different axis than normal of playing a normal game, like Security Control, etc. So I don't know. I'm not sure, but I can see Judgment definitely getting hit. I don't see them hitting Savior at all, because Savior is literally a key piece of the deck. The deck doesn't function like it should without Saviors, and I don't think that's something they would do. Like they hit Argomon, and Argomon wasn't a piece to a specific like archetype. This is like an archetype dead heavy, specific to the deck. So I don't see them doing that. But anyway, next up we have 2 Atomic Blasters. This is the card I also want to help improve my bond matchup, both bond matchups really, but the friendship matchup especially, and also in the mirror match, depending on at what point if they hit this in security, you can potentially get rid of both sisters. A CL and a Blanc equals AK, and you can get rid of both. So it's a card I'm testing. I'm not sure if I really wanted it or not, but I do feel like I wanted some other card besides just a big ass Jesmon to like obviously run over Digimon, because most of the time just a really large Jesmon is good enough to deal with your opponent's stuff. But for the 5 cost and the value that it has, I think this card is definitely very warranted. And next up we have 2 memory boosts. This is the card I was talking about that is essentially a 12th and 13th rookie in my deck. If you need a rookie, if you open with this card, it's essentially like playing a rookie, because obviously out of the 4 cards you get, if you hit a rookie, that's what you're going to grab. And it just helps with consistency of your deck overall to find the pieces that you need. Of course you're sad when Omni or a sister goes to the bottom, but this deck has so much variance and high roll, kind of is what it is with that. And last but not least, we're playing 3 tie. So I was playing 3 tie since I started, then I went to 2, never going to 1. I think that's silly. But I think that you really want to play 3 now at this point for a very important reason. Another card that everybody thinks is going to go to 1 or get banned, Ice Wall. And yeah, the thing is, if they have the 2 Ice Walls especially, well, if you start at 3, instead of them choking you, let's say like, oh, I don't need, you barely have any ties because you're only playing 1 or playing 2. Well, if you don't find the tie, and you have, you want to have 3. I think 3 is the max you can play. You can't play 4, and you want to try to find this card as quick as possible and have a turn to be able to play this. Because if you start at 3, and let's say you have a Jesmon and raising, you raise the Jesmon, you attack with it. You bring out a Sistermon CL. CL will put you at 4. You'll pay the 2 memory for the Ice Wall. Ice Wall puts you at 2. You unsuspend for Jesmon because you have a Savior, then you attack again. That still puts you at 0. And what that allows you to do is simply not pass turn. So either way, whether they have played 1 or 2 Ice Walls, I think you having either a memory boost or the Takamiya is going to be more important than ever to be able to stop things like that. Again, my focus on this deck is to be able to combat the bond matchup as much as possible. And I think the way that the deck is built, it's still able to cover everything overall. I still, again, have some other things that I want to test like the Gallantmon to see if it's really even worth really playing it or not. Honestly, if I'm being super honest with you guys, I feel like you can almost build this deck any kind of way and just hope not to brick. Just hope that that day is your day. Keep in mind your mindset for going to nationals. I've played in a lot of nationals tournaments, and I know one thing I can tell you guys: you need luck to win these tournaments. You need luck to win any tournament in general. And I mean, you guys know better obviously than anybody that it takes a lot of luck to win in these games, especially like relying on your security or just lucky flips or whatever the case is. And yeah, any Jesmon players out there, shout out to all you Jesmon players. We know this deck is Brick City Mixtapes. This is the ridiculous epitome of like just frustration, but the reward is so like rewarding because when everything works out, it's almost unstoppable. And you could kind of say that about any deck, but then not really, because like, you know, Genkumon promote and or not Genkumon, I'm way off. Titamon has like 2 checks, and all these other decks have 2 checks. And you know, if you have Black War Grabmon, cool, you're getting a little crazy, but like we all know how ridiculous Jesmon can get and how you just feel like, I can't believe this deck is able to do this. And when it does that thing, it just does it really well and does it better than any other deck. And I think it's obviously going to be one of the strongest decks going into the Nationals tournament. But this is my thoughts on the deck right now. Let me know your thoughts on how you guys play Jesmon. If you think I'm wrong, if you agree with what I'm talking about, let me know your thoughts down below, my fellow Jesmon players. Anybody, even if you're not playing Jesmon, let me know your thoughts. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to be doing some testing. We'll put my Twitch link down below so you guys can follow that, and I will be getting that fixed up, and I'll deal with Streamlabs and get that set up sometime soon here so I can get some games in with you guys, and you guys can you know, get some viewer games and just see me play in general and see where I'm at and how I'm testing. So with that, I'll have some more deck profiles coming for you soon. Hopefully I can get my Digi Gauntlet matches going back up again soon. So check out all those things on my channel coming. And I hope y'all have a great day and or night whenever you're catching this video. Shout out to my boy Joe Bogley with the Power Rangers mat. I love this mat. And yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. And again, y'all have a great start to y'all week. Y'all know what it is. Y'all have a great day and or night whenever you're catching this video. This is your homie S. TCG. Heading out. Peace.